Good morning, my dear students, and a very warm welcome to all of you in this e-learning session. Last two lessons revision is remaining, and we are going to continue today with the quick revision of lesson number 5, that is Why Do We Fall Ill? Welcome to Science by Harsha ma'am. Why do we fall ill? हम बीमार क्यों पड़ते हैं? As you already know that in this lesson what we are going to do is the three tables which are very important, as well as the table of the disease. As we had discussed in the WRT, the same thing we will discuss over here. These three things are very important, but we will have a quick recap at the entire lesson. The very first thing is human health and disease. Human health मतलब क्या? इंसान कब ठीक होता है? But important definition as per WHO is a person is healthy when you can say that he is physically, mentally, as well as socially very much happy. If the person is healthy physically, mentally, as well as socially, then we can say that the person is healthy. There are few of the things when we can say the person is healthy. If the person has no symptoms of disease and anxiety, has no physical deformity, has no mental problems and social tension, has no physiological tension, has all the body organs functioning properly, has purposeful life, and has sufficient balanced diet. So as per WHO, health is state of physical, mental and social well-being and not merely an absence of any disease. कोई disease नहीं है इसका मतलब हम ये बोल दे कि इंसान ठीक है, then that is wrong. Person should be happy physically, mentally as well as socially. Significance of health. Good health is healthy body with a healthy mind and healthy attitude. Good health increases our efficiency for doing work. The increased efficiency of man due to good health contributes to his own progress, the progress of community and the progress of nation as a whole. Good health also makes a man happy and cheerful. It allows a person to have initiative for betterment. It makes living a joyful experience. It keeps a person not only happy but also provides cheerfulness to the people. Good health is also the condition of our purposeful existence in this world. Next is community and personal health. There is a difference between these two words, that is community health and personal health. If we are fine, that doesn't mean that we will stay fine. Health depends on the personal habits as well as his environment. One cannot remain healthy if the environment is not clean. Good economic condition and jobs are needed for individual health so that the person can have a balanced diet and be healthy. Social equality and harmony in the community are also important to maintain individual's health. If the neighbors of the person are healthy but possess no civic sense, that is, they throw all the garbages out over here and there, and they do not maintain proper healthy habits, and they throw all the garbages over here and there, that will give rise to flies and mosquitoes, and ultimately the person may fall ill because the neighbors are not healthy. The microorganisms will infect the nearby foodstuffs, thereby spreading the disease. Thus, a person with a clean home but unclean neighborhood will become sick. Similarly, the health of the whole of the community depends upon the personal habits of individuals who constitute the community. Community health can be defined as all the personal health along with the environmental services for the improvement of health and community. It comprises of all the efforts for maintaining and protecting and improving the health of the people. Coming to the next part, that is the difference between the personal and community health. Personal health and community health. State of physical, mental and social well-being of an individual, it is called as personal health. It is the maintenance, protection, and if we talk about community health, then it is the maintenance, protection and improvement of health of the whole community. If we talk about personal health, only the individuals maintain his or her health and community health, then the whole community remains healthy. An individual can maintain his health by eating proper diet, observing personal and domestic hygiene, consuming clean food, clean water, and clean air, proper exercise, relaxation, and good habits. Community health can be achieved by provision for treated and safe drinking water, proper disposal of sewage and wastage, proper medical facilities, and control of all the communicable disease, health education. So this is one of the important difference which can come in exam. Okay. Moving further on the next part, which are the various activities which involve community health, maintaining proper sanitation of environment. आजू बाजू हमारी जो भी चीज़ें हैं, we have to see that they remain good. Like we should be given proper clean and safe drinking water. There should be proper system for disposing the waste, and anti-pollution laws should be enforced strictly. Providing facilities for prevention and control of disease like vaccination should be taken, and all the things like spraying and mosquitoes and germ killing chemicals at regular intervals should be done, so that all these harmful things stay away from us. Providing health education, that is, as you know that during the COVID situation we are given the basic information like clean the hands with the soap, use sanitizer, then while coughing or sneezing, use your hand or handkerchief. These are all the healthy habits. So that should be followed, and it should be taught to all the age groups. Establishing of healthcare services, district hospitals, primary health centers, all the medical colleges, all India institutes, regional hospitals, all these things. Prevention of food adulteration. You already know that these days the food we eat, it can get adulterated, and we can also check it whether the food is adulterated or not. जो भी देखो आपको उसमें you always get the thing that is actually bad. हर एक चीज़ है उसमें मिलावट हो जाती है आजकल बहुत आसानी से. So that kind of things are happening, and it should be seen that these things are prevented. Providing maternity and child care centers. Family planning advice should be properly followed, and medical care should be taken of the students who are going to the school or even who are small. Next is, what is a disease? Disease means condition of the body in which some part of the body or the entire body gets dysfunctioned, that is its functioning gets disturbed. It is defined as structural, functional or physiological disturbance in the body or body parts caused by external agencies, which may be parasitic or non-parasitic, or deficiency of any of the nutritions. It can be caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, etc. The meaning of the word disease is itself disease, that is ease-free, discomfort without ease. So disease is the disorder of the body. Now the distinction between healthy and disease-free. This is again very important answer. The person who is disease free cannot be called healthy, but the person who is healthy can be called as disease free. Vice versa is not possible over here. Health is the state of physical, mental as well as social well-being, and disease free means absence of any kind of disease in the body. It depends upon the person and on one's environment, including the society. And if we talk about disease free, then it depends upon the person alone. Person can be unhealthy even in the absence of disease, while disease free person can be disease free even in the absence of discomfort. So here it is important for us to note down this difference on page number that is from your assignment, page 98 and 99. Next is manifestation of disease. Symptoms are evidence of the patient's feeling of being wrong. For example, headache, loose motions, or a wound, they are symptoms of discomfort. Symptoms give an indication of the presence of a particular disease, and we can get it checked at laboratory, and after that, it gets cleared. Next, coming to the next part, that is the difference between acute and chronic disease. It's on page 100. If we talk about the difference between acute disease and chronic disease, acute, these are short-term disease, chronic disease, these are long-term disease. This lasts for a very small duration of time, this is lasting for a longer duration of time. This is not leaving any kind of impact afterwards. After the disease gets over, there is no further impact on the body, while here it may lead to a lifetime problem. There is no loss of weight over here, while here there is loss of weight. And here the efficiency will increase only for short, will decrease only for a shorter duration of time, while here it will be prolonged. Okay, so this is about the difference, and all these three difference you have to note just down, and you have been given the timing just now only. Complete write thus all three difference, and try to write it on your own, just two points on each. 2 difference between these two difference between these two, and two difference between these two. Come on, write it just now. You can use the you may use the assignments, page number is also given, but if you don't use and try to write it on your own, then that will be more good. Okay, very quickly note it down. I hope you have noted it down. And now we'll move further on the next part, that is the types of disease. If we talk about the causes of disease, if we talk about the further content, then disease is caused by three ways. The first one is pathogen, that is the various types of pathogens like virus, fungi, protozoa, worms, etc. They cause disease. Pathogens are transferred to human beings through air, contaminated food, water, soil, and animals. Pathogens are primary cause of infections and disease. The second thing is the lack of the nutritious diet. It is the second level of cause of disease. And absence of nutritious diet makes a person unhealthy. An unhealthy person may are susceptible to various disease in comparison to healthier person. Another contributory cause can be poor immunity, which can increase the proneness of individuals to a particular disease. A lack of public service. Government should provide clean drinking water, sewage disposable, good sewage dispose, proper garbage disposal facilities. If the public services are poor, then there are more chance of contamination of food and water. People due to poverty live in unhealthy surroundings and even where even the basic amenities are lacking, and these people may suffer more disease. So it is evident from the above discussion that these are the three levels of cause of disease. Next is types of disease. If we talk about the types of disease, then they are of two types, that is uh, congenital disease and acquired disease. Congenital disease means those diseases that are right from the birth, like color blindness, and no other like either due to genetic disorders or environmental factors, but it is by birth, and it can pass from one generation to another generation. Acquired disease can be of two types, either it is communicable or it is non-communicable. Communicable means it gets transferred from one person to another person. Example is smallpox, malaria. And contagious disease, that is smallpox, ringworm. Non-contagious like malaria, TB. Then coming to the non-communicable disease, these are the diseases that don't get transferred from a person to healthy person. For example, if a person is having diabetes, if you sit with that person, there are no chances that you get diabetes. So they don't get transferred from one person to healthy person. After that, we are having about the next part, that is infectious disease and non-infectious disease. And that we are having about the infectious agents. There are various infection agents like bacteria, virus, protozoa, worms, fungi. Bacteria are unicellular prokaryotic microorganisms. They reproduce very quickly. Some common disease caused by bacteria are typhoid, cholera, TB. Virus, they cannot be reproduced by themselves because they do not have their own metabolic machinery. They utilize the metabolic machinery of the host cell and they multiply over there. Then comes protozoa. They are microscopic unicellular eukaryotic organisms caused by various types of protozoa, like malaria is caused by plasmodium, kalas are caused by leishmania. Then comes helminths. They are multicellular worms which are mostly present in intestine, and various diseases like Ascaris elephantiasis is caused by them. Then comes fungi. It is also multicellular eukaryotic heterotrophic organism that causes ringworm, athlete's foot, and other skin infections. Next is reason for categorization of infectious agents. Why do we categorize them? That is because different infections are treated in a different way. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, जो दवाई आपको एक पर्टिकुलर बीमारी में लगती है वो सेम दूसरी बीमारी में आप वो यूज़ द डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ medicine. The drug that is for protozoa cannot be given for the drug for bacteria. The drug which is for virus cannot be used for the drug against protozoa. So it is all depending on the disease that is caused. Next is means of transport, that is means of spread. एक disease person एक disease से दूसरे disease तक मतलब कैसे पहुंचता है. First one in that is direct transmission, that is how it can get directly transmitted. Then that you are having the first thing, that is contact with the healthy infected person, sorry. When the healthy person will contact with the infected person, then various diseases like chicken pox, smallpox, ringworm, they are spread because the person is coming in touch of the person, in healthy person is coming in touch of infected person. Sexual contact is one of the closest physical contact, and various diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, AIDS are transmitted. Next is contact with soil. Infectious agents of tetanus can enter human body from soil through injuries, animal bites. The rabies virus is injected in the human body by the bite of the rabbit, dog or monkey. Next is transplacental transmission, that is from mother to the fetus. The disease like AIDS, German measles, syphilis, they are transmitted from mother to the fetus, because through placenta the food is provided to the child, and along with the food all this bacteria also move on. नेक्स्ट इज ड्रॉपलेट इन्फेक्शन. इसके बारे में तो आपने सुना ही होगा कि खांसते या छींकते समय यू कैन यूज़ योर हैंड और इवन योर handkerchief. So that is how droplet infection, that is pathogen spread by the way of sneezing, coughing, spitting. Example in common cold, influenza, diphtheria, TB, etc. Indirect transmission. For that you are having the very first thing, that is vectors, that is those living organisms that spread the disease, and as a part of a life cycle of the pathogen they passed through the body. For example, housefly, the very important one, कहीं पे भी बैठ के किसी भी गंदी चीज़ पे बैठ के then they may sit on your body and maybe on the food that you are eating. Another thing is female mosquitoes of many species are vectors of several disease. They require blood as a meal and they obtain the nutrients for laying eggs. Female Anopheles mosquito is responsible for spreading malaria, while Culex is spreading filaria. So different types of diseases are caused by different types of mosquitoes. The second way of indirect transmission is contamination through contaminated food and water. Cholera, hepatitis B, diarrhea, they are diseases which are getting transmitted through contaminated food and water. Then comes airborne disease, that is those diseases that are getting transferred from one source of infection. For example, you might be knowing during the COVID timings, if the person is using the door that is used by the person or even the lift, then it needs to be sanitized. So this is how airborne diseases get transmitted. Okay, moving on the further part, that is in the indirect transmission. As we discussed about the contaminated food and contaminated water, airborne disease, that is through air, it gets transmitted from a healthy person, from an infected person to a healthy person. For example, sneezing, coughing, spitting. Fomite borne, as we discussed, that is if a person is touching anything, then from infected person to healthy person it can get transmitted. Pathogenicity. Pathogens can harm their host in the number of ways, like the destruction of body tissues, release of toxins or poisons, which may be endotoxins. Entry of pathogen in the body is called infection, and after entering into the body, pathogens multiply over there, reproduce through toxins to make the symptoms of the disease appear. Next is the disease effect. Organ or tissue specific effects. Microorganisms, they enter the body through different parts like nose, mouth, through the sex organs, and ultimately signs and symptoms of the infection disease gets invaded. Then comes the common effects. It includes effects like inflammation, in which swelling, reddening and pain in the infected area and increase in the body temperature occurs. Then comes severity of the infects. If the microorganisms are smaller in number, then the severity will be less, but if they are more in number, then the severity will be more. Next is the treatment of infectious disease. The very first way is reducing the symptoms. जो भी symptoms है पहले उसमें relief लाने की कोशिश की जाए. Next is killing infections. Kill the microorganisms that are causing the infections. Now, how can they be killed? First one is the drugs. Take those chemical compounds that will target a particular reaction and they will stop the metabolic activities. Then comes antibiotics. Antibiotics are chemicals that kills or stop the growth of certain kinds of microbes. The development of antibiotics began with the discovering of penicillin by Sir Alexander Fleming, and as we know that he was the one who started the antibiotics, and it was penicillin antibiotic that he made first. And so the drugs are specific for curing pathogenic disease, but they are least effective for viral disease. Then comes the prevention of the disease. If we talk about prevention disease, then general preventive measures are provide safe drinking water, because if the drinking water will be good, then ultimately the problems will be less. Proper disposal of waste, that is garbage and everything, should be dumped at proper place or burned properly so that it is not causing any kind of pollution also. Vectors should be controlled. Then the immunity should be strong. Immune system, as you already know, if it is strong, then the person, that is WBC, then ultimately the person will remain healthy. Specific preventive measures in that we are having immunization, that is take the vaccination. Okay, and coming directly on the table, as we had discussed, bacterial disease and viral disease, these are the two tables which are very, very, very important. This is on page number 108 and this is on page number 109. These are the two tables that you have to by heart. Which are the diseases caused by bacteria? They are cholera, typhoid, TB, diarrhea, syphilis, gonorrhea. Causative organism, this you have to remember, that is Vibrio cholera, Salmonella typhi, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Salmonella shigella, Treponema pallidum and Neisseria gonorrhea. Mode of transmission, पहले दो में through contaminated food and water, TB through droplet infection, fourth again contaminated water and food, fifth and sixth through sexual contact and from mother to the child. Symptoms, we already have discussed that common symptoms you have to write, that is watery diarrhea, dehydration, that means loss of water, and ultimately breathlessness, chest pain, headache, and the normal one which are caused by the sexual contact. Then in that there is swelling in the swelling sensation in the sex organs, that is burning sensation, and pus discharge and heart troubles. Then cure, in all there is a common cure, that is antibiotics. Prevention, normal prevention you have to memorize, that is proper sanitation, personal hygiene, use of safe drinking water, TB vaccine for typhoid, and proper vaccination. If it is syphilis and gonorrhea, then improper and unhygienic sex practices should be prevented and avoided. Okay, so this is how you have to remember this bacterial disease, which is on page number 108. I'm giving you 2 minutes time, read the entire table, then we will move on the last part, that is the viral disease. Finish it fast, quickly. You have exactly 2 minutes time to read it. Quickly read it. Let's move further on the last part, that is the viral disease. Here you have to memorize a little bit more. Hepatitis A and hepatitis B. Hepatitis A, causative organism hepatitis A. Hepatitis B, causative organism is hepatitis B virus. Mode of transmission, it is always contaminated food, water. While hepatitis B, it is through infected blood. Coming to the symptoms, high fever. In hepatitis A, it is called as jaundice, and person becomes yellow. Cure is take proper rest. Prevention is use boiled water and fresh fruit. Hepatitis B caused through infected blood from mother to the child and through sexual contact. And again, symptoms, then liver, it is a liver disease and it is a chronic disease. And take proper rest is the cure. Prevention is avoid the risky sex practices and stay away from the blood or semen of the infected person. Rabies, caused by rabbit virus. By the bite of dog or monkey, it can get transmitted. You know that this is also called as hydrophobia because patient develops fear of water and they have high fever, and within the interval of 30 days the anti-rabies vaccine should be taken and pet animals should be vaccinated. Influenza, write all the things with respect to COVID, caused by influenza virus, spread from person to person, sneezing, fever, headache, muscular pain, and use the vaccines. Stay away from flu people, that is the only way. AIDS, caused by HIV virus, human immunodeficiency virus, how it is getting spread from infected person to healthy person's sexual contact, through blood transfusion, from mother to the child, swollen lymph nodes, weight loss, immunity loss. These are the ways by which which are the symptoms. There is no cure for it, and prevention. Dispose all the syringes that are used by any of the patient. Avoid sexual contact with unknown person. Before blood transfusion, get your HIV virus test. Okay, so this is all about today, and thank you so much, my dear students, for listening to me, and have a very good night. That's all. Bye bye.